Okay, hi everyone, this is Shashwat here. Hope you all are doing well and preparing well for your upcoming Nata second and third attempt of examination. Hope good to see you all again, like people watching it live on YouTube, or if you are the person who is watching a playback. So this is Shashwat here, and I'm back here again with the Aptitude master classes, which is a very important part of the NATA examination. You have almost 80%, or I must tell 70 to 70, 80, 75 to 80% covered in this part only. Now, the thing is that this aptitude portion, what we have, it is actually a vast subject, or you can tell a vast topics to be discussed, wherein after the removal of the this your drawing portion, the physical drawing portion, pen and paper drawing portion, right now what we see that there is theory of architecture, then design principle, your color theory, and then lots of other things that has been brought into action over here. So we are supposed to discuss all these things, go through all this stuff, and that's why we have been scheduling all these master classes over here. And I've been trying to update the pattern of the question paper or the classes as much as possible, so that you guys get the maximum help out of it. And whatever is possible from my side at max, I will surely do it. And don't forget to go to the description box right now before watching the whole video, or before going through the classes. Go to the description box. There is a Google form, fill it out. And also there's a contact number. If you need any help, connect me on that number, so that I can help you till your college admission of NATA 2022. It will be a complete guidance. Okay. So let's start the class without wasting any time. And okay, let all the students join and we can start the class. Guys, am I audible to all? Guys, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Fine. So, hi everyone. Before starting the class, from today onwards, we are starting these classes. So, yeah, please everyone come on video mode. Whosoever is there in class, come on video mode, please. Savi, then Mridula, Ria, okay, Satvik, Aishwarya, Purvika, okay, Rabia, Kasturi, Pratiksha, Vivek, Anjana. Quickly come on video mode. Please don't waste time. We need to continue the class. Others, just switch on your video so that we can continue the class. Savi, Mridula, I don't really find any thing that why you shouldn't start your video. Please switch it off. Others. Satvik, Kasturi, Pratiksha, Vivek, Anjana, Ravia. Fine. Okay. So how did the first attempt go for all? How was it? The same? Anything that you think that should be modified, or we should go through as an extra stuff for the upcoming 2 attempts? Unmute yourself and tell. Guys, if I'm asking you to start your video, either switch on or else you can wait in waiting room. Yeah, Savi, Medula, Aishwarya.
Sir, I haven't given the first attempt.
For Mridula, Aishwarya, you have given the first attempt? Aishwarya, you have given the first attempt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do you think? Okay, you have seen the last year's paper and all?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? Any sort of modifications that is there, or any change in pattern?
Somewhere there were basic questions.
Fine. Fine, no issues. So what we will do. Okay. So see what we will do. I'm just here to discuss with you guys how the pattern goes, what sort of things we are going to cover in the classes also. Okay. So we are having a very definite set of pattern to go through. We are having quite a few things to learn in this time period, and that is very short. So mostly we will have to go through the design principle, color theory, color psychology, elements of design. This is what will be having a chunk amount of marks, like a huge amount of marks. You can consider it as. Other than that, what we also have, and what also contains a good amount of score is your theory of architecture and as well as logical analytical reasoning questions. Okay. Physics and maths, ma'am will be taking the class. I guess that won't be an issue. So just like, before going into anything and before we go into depth of any stuff, today what we will do is that we will just quickly have a look into what are the kind of questions that we do get after the removal of this drawing part, this in this principle of design and stuff. What are the stuff that we need to go through? We will just have a quick look through that. Okay. So just give me a minute. Let me open my, let me share my screen. Just hold a second. Fine. Okay, fine. So as discussed with others as well, we will be revising up all the topics, and screen is visible to all of you, I guess. Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So basically your drawing part has been removed now, and we have things related to theory of drawing, like I call it theory of drawing in short. So what does it have inside it, or what does it constitute, is related to the, whenever you see a composition, whenever you see something, there are lots of design principles which are induced into it. You need to know them. You need to know how they are implemented, how to know from a composition that okay, if that thing is there in it or if it is not there in it. And depending on that, you can analyze, and you have seen the questions already. A composition is given and you will be asked that, which are the correct one, or you will be asked to identify. Okay, so that is how it will go. Fine. Okay. So just make it very short for today's discussion. After that, we will definitely go into a brief one and all. What we have here first is balance. So whenever we are speaking about balance or anything like that, what happens is we see something in nature, or we see something in terms of a composition, or in terms of whatever it is there. But we also need to understand that when we are seeing it, we feel something about it. So when you are seeing a person, you feel something about that person. That can be in any sense. But on the other hand, now what you need to understand is, what do you feel about the composition or a composition that you see? Okay. So for example, we have here balance. Now, can any one of you explain how do we see balance in all these compositions one by one? Unmute yourself and please try to explain. At least people who were there in previous classes. Savi, are you there? Savi?
Yes,
The
sir.
proportion on the both sides.
Yeah, tell Shumen.
Proportionate on the both sides, in a way.
Yeah, give an explanation for this Titanic poster. How do we get to see balance?
So,
Symmetrical balance is mentioned over here. Give an explanation.
on the both sides, the color doesn't change much, and we have faces on the both sides, like Jack and Rose. Uh, and the color composition doesn't change much, I guess. Like on the both sides, it's kind of equal.
So I will now just tell you how we get to see balance, and most importantly, the first topic is of what we are going to go through is symmetrical balance. So how it occurs and what happens over here is very simple. Whenever you see a composition, try to look for try to look for an axis first. Over here, the axis is a vertical one. Somewhere it might be horizontal, somewhere it might be diagonal as well. Okay. Now, after that, you need to look for that on both the sides of the axis, if the weightage of the composition is equal or not. If yes, then it's a symmetrical balance. It need not to be a mirror image, cannot be in real life composition. Mirror image in a composition, like whatever you see is not possible. But the weightage of the composition or whatever you see on both the sides of the axis should be same. Now I'll just give you a quick explanation how it works. So over here you see this. Now for example, if the side of the deck, okay, the side of the deck was having lots of people, for example in black itself, if I just mark out. So there were lots of people on the side of the deck who were watching something, might be I'm not sure about, but there were people, okay, completely filled with people. They are watching something or the either someone is looking this side, that side, and all this whole side is filled. This whole side is filled out by people who are on the side of the deck. Whereas this particular side is completely empty. Then this whole composition could created should have created an asymmetrical balance, because it would have been having more weightage on one side and a less weightage on other side. These are visual aspects that you need to understand. We call them design principles. We have something known as visual principles as well. What Nata asks you will be about visual principle, which combines of all the things together. So this is how we are creating it. So over here in Titanic, you see symmetrical balance. You see symmetrical balance in this, cover page of this magazine. You have Starbucks logo. You have these all things and all. Now we have few things related with the different kinds of design elements or stuff that are into it. So whenever you see a stuff, what are the things that come to your mind, or what are the visual principles that you get to see over there? Over here we have a short discussion about that. We will go into brief of each of these things, but over here what you get to see is a very short discussion about these stuff. Okay, so what we have here in the very first composition, what was it? Okay, first of all, it's all about symmetrical balance. What we get to see, it should be formal, uniform, soothing, organized, stability, can be monotonous, compositions looks highly balanced, logo in printing and in other uses becomes a lot easier, can be used from either side, repetitive elements makes it easier in architecture, ease of balance, best balance looks in symmetrical balance. Okay, so they are talking about where do we get to see the best balance. Now over here about the Adidas logo, they have told what are the other things along with symmetrical balance that we get to see is your high contrast with white and black. So always remember the highest contrast that you get to see is in terms of white and black. Other than that, what we have here is your shape, form, lines. These are all elements of design. So visual principle and design principle wants to bring these things into an implementation. We need elements to work into. Okay. So for example, if you understand something as you understand this as a balance, the composition which you are seeing it is composed of a few elements which constitutes of forms, shape, and lines. These are known as elements. I'm just covering up the whole thing in a summary, as a summary. Okay. So we have this Time magazine cover page, which you just saw. What it has is your symmetrical balance. It has emphasis, high contrast, red, white, and black. Lines, shape, and topography as well. Starbucks logo, what we got to see was symmetrical balance, high contrast, white and green, unity, shape, form, lines. The Gucci logo, what we get to see is symmetrical balance, high contrast again in terms of black and white, unity, shape, topography, and lines. And in the Titanic poster, along with the symmetrical balance, there was emphasis. Where was the emphasis being created? Okay, someone, wait a minute, please. I will ask someone. So that person, please answer. Okay. Satvik, are you there? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Where do we get to see emphasis? Just see the word. You know English, right? So see the word emphasis. What does it mean, and where do we get to see in the composition? Titanic coaster. Satvik. Satvik, are you there?
Yeah, yeah. Sir,
Which portion is being emphasized? Okay. Moving on to Ria.
sir, the focal point, the center point, sir.
Center point means which center point are you talking? This point?
No, sir. The line.
You're talking about the line is being, that is an axis shown to you. This is the composition. That is just for the representation of, okay, this is the axis and this is how symmetrical balance is being created. Okay, moving on to Ria, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, where do we get to see, like, this thing? Where do we get to see your emphasis in this Titanic logo?
So is it the ship?
Think about it, Anton. What do you notice once you look at the composition? Close your eyes and look at what first comes to your view. Like, what do you see first?
The first thing I see is the ship.
First thing you see is the ship.
Yeah.
Title.
Yeah. Someone else told something?
Sir, first we see the title.
First you see the title. Okay. Now tell me, for example, like, you all are looking throughout the composition. What should come to your notice first once you just look at this whole composition is the face of these two people. That is what is trying to be highlighted over here with a kind of the transparent background or something in matching with the background. But yeah, now someone told title. For example, let me consider that. Why do you think title is being emphasized? What's the reason? What's the reason that you feel that title is being emphasized?
Because it is written in white color in a black background.
Absolutely right.
High contrast.
Yeah, because of contrast. So you have a black background with the usage of white. Hence, it creates a further kind of black background with something on top of that white. So high contrast and something will be very prominently visible. So you all know about chameleon, like, that animal with combines itself with the atmosphere, like changes its color, body color.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What it does, for people who are new, tell me. Aishwarya, Tembekar, then, okay, who else is there? Anjana, Kasturi, to still, I guess you have gone through those classes. So anyways, you can also try Mohak, then Purvika, Rabia, Ria, Satvik, Tejas, Vivek. Tell what does that animal does actually in terms of this design principles and all. After going through this, what does that animal do once it is trying to mix with the nature or mix with its surroundings? In terms of this design principles or color theory, what in terms of color, what is actually that animal trying to do? Yeah, please unmute yourself and try to answer. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It's trying to camouflage.
Who told it? Like, I didn't notice. Can you just tell your name?
Nena, sir.
Nana. Fine. So now Nana, once Nana has told that it's trying to camouflage. So basically, what is it doing? So that it is getting camouflaged with the surrounding. what's happening? What's the phenomena acting over there?
He is
Others?
hiding in the other.
Someone else, in terms of explain in terms of this design principle or something like that. I am looking for an answer, something related to that.
It's reducing the contrast.
It's reducing the contrast. Who told it?
Hina.
It's reducing the contrast. So once the contrast is reduced, you cannot see something like, with, or you cannot differentiate between that. For example, I will just give you an instant example, okay? Which is more bright to you? I have made two squares visible to everyone. I have made two squares visible to everyone.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Which is more better? Like which is like more visible to you? Or once you look at the whole composition, what can you see first? For example, wait a minute.
White.
So the white one.
This, then this white one will be the place where your first attention will be going, because these two are not having like very are not at par with each other in terms of your color, or you can tell in terms of your contrast. So whenever there is a contrast, you see something is trying to be emphasized, you need to look for that. And with emphasis, you have lots of other things. So things, the design principle or visual principle, the best part is that all these things work work hand in hand. So whenever you see something, you can try to implement and look for the other design principle that can also be implemented. Nata will be asking you hardly two, or sometimes mostly I guess it's four options that you need to choose. And you, when they ask you as four important visual principles that you can see. So whenever you can see one, try to look for the other that goes with that. And also look for that if that is the most important one, or there is something other than that which can be also considered as more important. Okay, this is how you need to sort out, or how you need to find out the answer to these, to your questions or so. Okay. Now, for example, here are a few examples of what you get to see in terms of symmetrical design. So this is the Taj Mahal, this is the Petronas Twin Tower, this is the White House. Exactly everything is being made in a perfect symmetry. This is all about your symmetrical designs also. Now we have here something based on these view, or these compositions that you can see. We need to go through each one of them to understand. First of all, what we will do, we will go through each of this design principle, try to understand what is there in it. Once we get to know that, okay, these are the visual and design principles, quickly we will complete it. Then we will go through the composition, asking each one of you what is there in it and compare it with the answer. So once you do, it will be like you will be going through around a 50 to 60 compositions like this. So you get an idea about how to identify the visual principles in a composition. It's clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So this is a part of it. I'll stop sharing my screen. Now we have something also known as your theory of architecture, which will constitute of quite a few things you can tell. Mostly your history of architecture, your general knowledge in architecture, a few of the things that we have seen. And also along with that, we will have to go through a few things in this short time period. So wait a minute, let me open it up. Which will have few things like these. I'll just share the screen now. For example, this is Lee Corvisor. Okay. Other than the people who were there in previous classes before first attempt, please don't answer. Other people who have just joined new, try to answer this question. One of the most important work of leak advisor in India. Anjana, then Mohak, then who else is there? Rabia, Purvika, Vivek, Satvik, Riya, Tejas. Please unmute yourself and try to answer. It's of no use if you just put yourself on mute and sit in the class. It is not going to help you at the end of the day. Okay, I got an answer from Aisha actually. I wrote yes. I was trying to write yes to her, but it went to everyone. Please ignore that. Okay. So others, what happened? Can you guys just unmute yourself and try to answer so that we can have a better interaction, or how is it? Mohok, are you there? Rabia, Purvika,
Yes, sir.
Tejas, Satvik, Riya. Fine. I'll just tell you guys. So one of the most important works, like of leak advisor is the city of Chandigarh. Savi and Aisha gave the answer. They sent the direct message. Okay. So city of Chandigarh is actually one of the most important works of leak advisor. You need to know these things. PDFs will be shared. Go through those. Try to understand what are these. Like just try to remember. For example, if someone is showing you the picture of Taj Mahal, how you can recognize it. In a similar way, you should also recognize the work of these people. Okay. So then we have someone named as Louis Khan. Our room is not room without natural light. Okay, these are few of the codes. But you need to understand what they have used, how they have used these things, and mostly what you need in Nata is the kind of like few names of the works that they have done, and something related to like just have a view of those works, like view of those structures and all. So either you will be given the picture, asked who has made it, who is the architect, what's the name of that structure, or else you will be asked about that, like you'll be given the name of the architect and asked to identify among the options. So we need to go through these things. There will be a particular chapter named as light and shadow. So these are the things that you will be having in Aptitude, just to give you an idea about how these things work and what we need to go revise, or like we need to go through. And that's all. Now, anyone having any doubts or queries, please ask. And making it very clear for everyone, if you're coming to a class, please switch on your video and have an interaction. If not, you may not come to the class. Yes, anything from anyone? Any doubts, any queries, anything, any questions and all that's coming to your mind? Satvik, Mridula, Savi, Riya, Purvika, Pratiksha, Vivek, Anjana. I just gave you an introduction about what is there, People who are there already, they already have an idea about, they have gone through the things, but people who are new, at least I guess you should have some questions. Nothing like that from anyone?
No, sir, nothing as of now.
Fine. Okay. So these are the things basically what we need to cover up, what Nata has. And after that, most importantly, practice some mock test papers. That will be there in your app, and few things will be shared via your normal WhatsApp group. So you'll have to go through these things and cover it up. That's all for Nata. Nothing much to be completed also. Okay. So for today, that's all. And next day onwards, it will be a full 1 hour, or sometimes might be 1.5 hours of class, just for your information. This was just a basic introduction class, so we tried to keep it as short as possible. I hope everyone has got an idea about what is there in terms of the syllabus, or what you need to cover up in the short span of time. Okay, that's all, guys. If you have any queries, you can ask, or else that's all for the class. Thanks a lot. You can quit.
So,
Yes, Avi, please start.
so for the colleges, we have to apply after the third attempt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing as of now. Just plan for your exam.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot. That's all for the class. Whatever is there regarding college, you just connect me on my number. You have it, 7624988138. If no, it's not there with you. Whatever is there, I will help you out with. Don't worry about that. Just go for your exam as of now till third attempt. Or if you're giving second, go for second. Post that, you let me know. Right, guys. Thanks a lot for the class. See you all tomorrow, and make sure you are coming with your video switched on and having a proper interaction in the class. That's all, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So everyone watching it live on YouTube, that's all for the class. And Nata is something, or the architecture, once you're going for this field, it's something where you need to have a lot of interaction with people. It's not like, you can be in a class and you just sit quietly and there will be someone who is writing on the board giving you an explanation. Thing doesn't work like that. You need to understand this. You need to have an understanding of this whenever we are going for something, or whenever you want to discuss regarding something. It has to be in a very proper way. The classes has to go in a proper pattern, and there should be an interaction, because that's all you need to understand in this class period. And so if you are looking for something like, that the class will be there and things written on board, things doesn't work like that in architecture. So please understand that, guys. And that's all for today's class. I hope everyone got to know something regarding the Nata paper pattern and how you need to prepare. What are the things we will be covering up here now at the situation at the Aptitude Masterclass. This reason for making it live was that you have the Google form and the contact number. You connect me, you take the best of the best help. We have kept the very minimum amount of fees that if you want to prepare till the third attempt or till the second attempt of examination, with all benefits, regular live classes, almost 2 classes will be there every day. You get a full study material package, you get full test series, these tests that you can give from your laptop or desktop. Similar user experience as of what you have seen in Nata, and a one full year complimentary recorded lectures. So there will be around 200 to 230 recorded lectures once you join the classes itself. So this is all what you get. If you just want a self-study package, that also we have with recorded lecture, study material, test series at a very minimum cost. You cannot even imagine that, it's cost somewhere around 2,000 rupees for self-study, to 2 to 3,000 rupees for self-study materials. If you're going for a crash course, it will be something below 10,000 rupees, around 8 to 10,000. So you need to understand these things. If anyone is needing a financial help, let us know. You connect me on the number, and let's make the best out of this portion. Try to prepare, try to interact with each other, and go for the exam. So Nata is a complete CBT mode test. If someone is also coming up with the concept that, okay, why can't we go for an offline class, or why if we don't get an offline class, then it is not important. Things are not like that. Offline classes are not required in Nata as of how it's going right now. So this is all that you need to understand, and whatever we will be covering up in this short span of time. So see you all in the class. Make sure you fill the form and connect me on the number. Let's prepare and let's give the best for the exam. And if you need any help regarding fees, feel free to connect me on the number. We are free, or I'm ready to help you out at that position. Okay. So make sure you give best for your Nata examination this year. Get the best result, get admission to the best college. Even we will help you with that. So remember that, connect me, and let's make Nata 2022 a success for all of you. That's all, guys. Thanks a lot. See you all in the upcoming session. Bye.